Yeah, he seems absolutely fine now. I guess Danny started talking to Tony about the time we put him in nursery school.
Stay away from me! Don't hurt me!
I'm not gonna hurt you.
I can't get out!
This is for Shelley Duvall. I mean, I always did want to do a video on The Shining. I mentioned it back, I believe, in February on my video on the Stanley. The video on The Shining will be coming up soon, maybe sometime this month or next month. But as you can see, I put it off for a while. The timing felt right. I mean, sadly, it was because we lost her, and I wish it was because something else. I wish just wanting to do the video on its own was enough to push me to do it. But I hate that that was the reason. It's like, I know I'm getting older. I am. But I just don't think about how everyone I grew up with was also getting older, and the fact that we lose them never really entered my mind until we lose them. This is one of those. It's one of those that hit me because I was so used to seeing her, and granted, she hasn't really been doing anything in years, but she had those iconic roles, like Wendy Torrance. So this one is in honor of Shelley Duvall. Let's get on to a happier side. I mean, really, is The Shining really a happy movie? It's kind of in a weird way. So I don't know if you guys see this. Like, my mom and I joke around about certain horror movies that have like a calming effect. The Shining is one of them. Why? I think it's because it's kind of like not really quiet, but it's an easy movie to play in the background, if that makes sense. Not to say it's boring. It is not boring at all. But it's just one of those movies. I'm not really sure how to describe it. I did rewatch it for this and I get like a refresher. So the movie itself, I feel like if this character, if you guys have read the book, you know it's a little bit different. Maybe that's why Stephen King didn't really like it, didn't really care for it. Although I did hear he rewatched it and he thought it was okay. I think it's because it didn't follow the big parts of the book, I think. Like, the ending is totally different than the book. I feel like anyone who has read the book and watched the movie knows that. I'm not going to say the difference in case any of you haven't read it and want to find out for yourself. There's a happier moment in the end of the book. But I feel like as far as the characters go, no one could have played Wendy except Shelley. No one could have played Jack except Jack Nicholson. So there's that. I mean, there's this scene that everyone knows.
Here's Johnny!
I remember, so I have this friend, and this was a long time ago, but I so wanted her to do it. So she was telling me that her bathroom door, yeah, that's what made this so perfect. It was her bathroom door got a hole in it, and she didn't know what to do because she was renting rooms. She had roommates. So can you see where I'm going with this? What I suggested she do to fix it? Stick a picture of Jack in the hole to make it look like The Shining recreated every time you go into the bathroom. That's how I told her to fix it. I don't think she ever did, but it would have been amazing. I almost wanted to punch a hole in one of my doors just to be able to do it, but of course I rent rooms too, so that probably wouldn't be a good idea. But you can see how, like, some scenes are just so iconic. They're kind of, like, embedded in your brain forever, and you just reference them without really realizing it. It's just a part of you. This is one of those movies that is just always a part of me. So for those of you that have never seen it, or maybe just didn't grow up with it and haven't gotten around to seeing it yet, the movie is basically about this guy who gets a job to kind of look over this hotel during the off season. It can be pretty isolating. He's warned about that in the very beginning. that some people go a little stir crazy because there's nothing really around. The weather gets bad. They could sometimes be stuck there. They give him all this up front, and he chooses to take it anyway. And you could kind of see where this is going, right? Well, he was warned about one person in particular that had the same job that he was about to take, and it didn't end very well. They all move in, the three of them move in, and so Danny, their son, has what is known as the Shining. He sees ghosts, and I feel like every kid, honestly, is kind of open to ghosts, so this is just kind of like pinpointing that. But Danny has it to a whole different level. He can see them, he can hear them, he could kind of sense them when they're around. And Jack starts changing into a different person. And Wendy and Danny are starting to see it. They kind of huddle together, they kind of give him his space, but it doesn't always work. So things are starting to take a turn. Besides that scene that I was talking about with Jack in the bathroom, there's also these twins. And they're kind of iconic in their own right. So my sister and I, actually my mom and I, always run a hotel for big events like birthdays, some holidays. And so my sister and my niece came to visit one time, saw the creepy hallway. And of course we had to take the opportunity to pose like the twins. So this is one of those movies. And I don't know if I should say anything more than that. But if you haven't watched The Shining and you like horror, really, what are you waiting for? You have to watch it at least once. And since we're coming into the Halloween season, yeah, you heard me. I'm recording this in July 29th and I'm talking about the Halloween season because it's here. It's in the stores. So since we're coming into the Halloween season, this is the perfect time to watch it. I'll leave the storyline as it is, as much as I told have to experience at least once. And there's little things, so I didn't even know this. I didn't realize this until I saw a meme about this. But there's this thing that went around about Jack's tie. When he was doing the interview to get into the hotel, someone zoomed into his tie and there's a maze on it. I'll leave it at that, because that will kind of show up in the movie if you haven't seen it. And if you have seen it, you're welcome if you've never seen that meme. So this is just an all-around fun horror staple of a movie. And there is another version out there that Stephen King did, and I probably will go over that again as well. But again, I had to do this now. I had to cover it for Shelley Duvall. And what I love, so the Stanley Hotel, a couple days after the news of Shelley Duvall kind of broke out, they did this. How long it's gonna be there, I have no idea. If it's still there now, I have no idea. But the fact that it was done, the fact that it was put together in her honor, just makes me so happy. Even though she did do other movies that she was known for, I feel like when people think Shelley Duvall, they think first of The Shining, then Popeye, then Fairy Tale Theater, and even Frankenweenie. She did a lot of different things. But this one, it hurts, it stings. Another piece of my childhood said goodbye. So for those that have never watched this movie, if you do watch it, let me know what you think. If you've watched it, let me know what you love most about it. Because I can talk about this movie for a long time. I feel like I'm trying to go around really talking about it to not ruin it for people. So I'm just rambling. But it's one of those movies that you could just ramble about. I recommend it. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!